Hi there! Well, it's been like a week since I made any updates on the big life change thing happening with my family. Here we go. I was walking just here and I was thinking, what should I call this video? Sometimes I kind of imagine the subject and try to think of a title beforehand. And I'm thinking maybe the exit marked ouch or the exit marked pain. And the reason being is that I'm about to do something. This is the day that I've been probably certainly regretting most. With regard to the whole process. If you're just catching up, I'm moving my family to the United States. I went back and it's been a long process, like a 6-month process. I got a new job in the United States. Just came back a week ago from a flight to the United States to interview where I secured the position. And now it's the first day back to work here at my job in Japan. And this is the day that I need to give notice to my employer and let them know that I'm leaving. So this is going to be really hard. And let me explain why. Well, it kind of reminds me of, here's the reason, because there's really no easy way out. It reminds me of sometimes when I'm hiking. I remember years ago, this is when I was just a teenager, and I was up in the chaparral in the Angeles National Forest outside of Los Angeles. And my strategy in hiking is I like to always return via a different route. So I learned that from Thoreau. Who said something like a real adventurer never returns the same way they went up. So I always try to find a different way back, which is folly in many ways, because sometimes you find your way back by a way you don't know and you run into waterfalls and obstacles and critters and stuff, and it makes it hard. And I remember one time I'd hiked up the top of this mountain through this one, all alone, through this one canyon, got to the top and decided to go back down a different canyon, same place, the valley below. And while doing that, I ran into this area that was just completely covered up with a manzanita brush. I mean, I just couldn't get through. But it was too late. There was no way back. I couldn't go back up to the top and back down without returning well after nightfall, and I didn't have a flashlight. And I was all alone, so I had to simply push through the chaparral, which just was so thick, and it tore up my clothes and cut my body, and it was just, I had to get through to the other side. I didn't know how far it would take, and it was really painful, but it got me through. And I feel like I'm in the same situation now, because there's no real easy way out of this situation that I'm in. Here's the thing. In Japan, cultural difference. Start with the United States. In the United States, when you want to change a job, you basically begin a job search. And when you find that job, you then, the new employer will understand that you'll need to give notice at your old job. And depending on the type of job, whether it is, you may give anywhere from 2 weeks up to a couple of months in some cases. The more the time, the better. Especially if it's the type of job where the old employer needs time to secure a replacement. And I've always been tried to give my employers as much notice as possible, and then I also try to help them to find somebody to replace me. In Japan, and everybody understands that's how it works in North America. Now in Japan, it doesn't work that way. In Japan, there's a quitting season and a hiring season. A quitting season and a starting season, and this extends to both employment as well. It's the bullet train up there. Long time no see, bullet train. Haven't made a video here for a while. And that extends to both employment as well as schooling. So typically, people finish their life endeavors, finish a term at school, finish a grade level, graduate, or finish an engagement with an employer at the end of March, and then begin something new in April. And it's a beautiful way to do things, because it's in perfect coordination with the arrival of spring, and most significantly, the cherry blossoms. So you start something new, you go back to school, children are walking to school with their backpacks on to start a new grade or to a new school. As the cherry blossoms are falling, the new employees are starting their new work year, or starting a new job, or graduating from college and coming into entering the workforce as the cherry blossoms are falling. It's all very symbolic, and it's a very beautiful system. So people that have career types of jobs. There are part-time jobs too you can have in Japan. They're called albaiters or patas. I think that's something they also call them. And I think they're more at will. They can kind of leave as necessary. But a job like mine, you would typically, especially a teacher, you would typically stay through the end of the school year. And if you're going to retire, as the word sometimes used around here, even though you're not really retiring, you're just moving on to someplace else, you would give notice about the end of the year, and then give your employer time to find someone to replace you in April. They would have a nice farewell ceremony in March, and maybe some gifts and such, and off you'd go. That's the way you need to do it. Now, the problem I'm in, the reason I'm coming down that mountain and I'm facing this obstacle, is that I've got two cultures, and I'm trying to find a way to have a nice dovetail, a nice exit between the two cultures, and I can't make it work. And that's because my new job, I've been employed. Oops, there's a message up here. I've been employed, and they want me to start, and they've been very generous in giving me. I've explained my situation, and they've given me basically 9 weeks. That's a little more than 2 months to make this transition. That's very generous of them. They really need me. They told me they would like me to start soon, and but they've been very generous in allowing that. Now that 9 weeks just doesn't match up. It's almost enough to get me through to the end of March, but it won't do it. It brings me basically not to the end of March, to the start of March. It basically gets me to the third week in February. Now I'm going to need to leave my current job on February 15th. That'll be my last day, because I need a last week to tidy some things up and to help close off this life before I leave. So I'll need that free time for that. So I'm giving notice today. I'm going to go in and talk to my boss, and as if that wasn't bad enough, the real humdinger is that I'm going to have to tell them that I can't stay until the end of the term, that I'm going to need to leave on February 15th. Will be my last day. That will leave them with roughly a month of classes without me, which doesn't mean the classes are without a teacher. I mean, I team teach, so the teacher that teaches the class, there will still be a teacher there, but they won't have me to help them out, and that's significant. I'm not saying that it's less significant. I'm all emotional now. I feel terrible about this because my employer's been very good to me. I wish that there was a way that I could make this, and even if they weren't very good to me, I just wish there was a way that I could exit via the Japanese prescribed system and then start my new job accordingly. But I just couldn't make the two match. As hard as I tried, almost brought it about that they dovetailed, but not quite. So I'm going to go in now, talk to my boss, take my boss aside, and tell him that I'm leaving, which I think he suspects already, because I know that I've been posting this stuff on Facebook, and I know that my coworkers, some of them follow my postings on Facebook, so I think he knows that I'm up to something, but he doesn't know the details. The real bomb will be, like I said, will be letting them know I'm not staying until the end. And which in Japan, you do things the way things are to be done, and there's not a lot of leeway for that, and I'm not criticizing that. My regret is that I can't make that happen. I thought it through 17 ways to Sunday, and I just can't, and I feel terrible. I mean, the only way that I could have made this happen would have been to have given notice, quit the job in March, and then begin my job search then. This job search took me more than half a year to land this job. I mean, I would have to support my family during that time. I simply couldn't make that happen. So this was really the only way out. So there you go. So here we go. It's time to just buckle under, cinch down my gear, press on into the Manzanita forest, get all cut up and bruised, and going to do some damage along the way to others, and I feel bad about it, and then emerge out the other side and have it as a lesson learned. Okay, I never thought about this going into this. I never thought about how I would exit. Okay, or exit gracefully at least. Okay, well that's it. Time to muster my pace, pick up my speed, and just go do this. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Have a great day.